Hey guys, what's up? Sermo11 here with my review of Star vs. the Forces of Evil Season 1. I have to say, I love this show. This is such a well done show, and I'm glad you guys picked this as the first show I watched. My friend has been telling me to watch this show for 2 or 3 years, and I don't know why I never just sat down and watched it. I guess I thought the show was a regular cartoon without a plot, but boy was I wrong. I finished season 1 in a few days. I couldn't stop watching the show, and I hated having to stop watching the show for the purpose of this review, so I didn't get influenced by season 2. I didn't really want my thoughts to get mixed up if anything were to change within the show. So I did take a break there, but as I was watching it, I watched first season in a few days, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. To start things off, Star vs. the Forces of Evil starts off in an episodic way. There are small portions of the plot revealed, and there's world building done throughout these episodic episodes. And I like this because if you catch a random episode of the show, you can still get into it, and you can also be like, oh, there's more to this show, and then that might influence you to keep watching. Heck, I watched some episodes late at night once because they just gripped me. You know, I didn't really watch the show. It was on late at night. My friend had been recommending it, and so I was just like, oh, Star's on. And then I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, I really enjoy this, you know. So I was getting into it even back then. So that should have been the switch in my head, you know, the Nintendo Switch. That should have been the switch in my head to watch it. So the story starts off with the Princess of Muni, which is a different dimension. The Princess of Muni, Star Butterfly, she receives a magical wand from her parents for her 14th birthday, and Star misuses this wand, and then she's sent to Earth to learn how to use the wand. And Marco Diaz, he has to show her around the school. He's the other main character, and she also ends up living with him and his family. And Star and Marco fight the evil villain Ludo, who is trying to steal Star's wand. And I like the fact that they had Marco be a martial artist. You know, he can fight villains too. There wasn't anything about him having to get stronger, him having to train or anything. He takes martial arts. That's good enough to fight these villains. I believe he's a green belt when the show starts, so I mean, that's good enough. That's good enough to fight these guys. And Star has a lot of attacks. Even in the first few episodes, she uses a lot of spells, and I'm guessing they just, you know, create spells on the spot. I don't know if these are, you know, set in stone, or it's just like, oh, we have a new episode, let's come up with some sort of random attack for her to have, and then that's what they do. I imagine that Star is weak without the wand, so that could be a cool plot line to explore in the future. Marco and Star, they have great chemistry together. They really nailed that with this show, and I love seeing the two on screen together. I love seeing their friendship develop, and they're just great characters. And Star is very eccentric, you know, she's very weird, she's very all over the place, so that's fun too. It was nice that Star wasn't being mistreated for her powers. Some shows do that when they have such an odd main character, but Star fits into the school nicely, which I like. I have taken a peek at future episodes, so I liked how characters are shown early in the show even though they don't have speaking roles yet. This show is pretty crazy. One of Star's best friends is a pony head. Star turns her teacher into a troll, and Star turns Marco's arm into a monster. I like the fact that there was another exchange student before Star, and the first season is just loaded with good episodes, and those are just a few examples of some of the situations and good episodes the show has. I liked how Star kept mentioning her fear of going to St. OLGA'S throughout the first season, and then they end up going there. And the character of Toffee being introduced was great because it marked a change for the show. I could just tell this character was different from Ludo, who has been treated as more of a joke villain throughout the first season. I was spoiled on Toffee as I was reading about the show to see if I should watch the show or not, so I knew about some of the stuff that was coming up with Toffee, but I still enjoyed it. The animation looks good and it continues to improve as it goes on, and there's a lot going on with the animation. I probably missed some jokes or things going on just because of how quick some of the scenes are with humor or action. So sometimes I rewind and then I see different things or I hear different things because the show just goes so fast at certain points. I wanted to mention that Marco's friend, Alfonso, he has a weird voice. I'm not sure why they chose to give him such a weird voice, but it really stands out. That's all I wanted to say on it. It's a weird voice. It's there for some reason, or maybe they thought it was funny, but it's weird. I'm not going to be biased and say season 1 is perfect, because it's not. I mentioned earlier that the show has some episodic episodes and some of them were boring. Characters may have been introduced in episodes throughout season 1, but that doesn't make every single episode in season 1 good. For me, the first episode was pretty standard. It was a pretty standard cartoon episode. We have the girl, Star Butterfly, coming to Earth. We have Marco, the good student, becoming her friend, and she's also living with him and his family. It's a pretty standard episode. It just sets the show up. The show starts to pick up and get better around episode 3. I think I didn't want to watch this show because cartoons these days have plots going on, and when I watched a part of the first episode, the show gave me the vibe that there was no plot. And also watching random episodes and all that, maybe I just thought like, oh, this is a show with just random situations, and I made a mistake. And I'm glad I finally watched Star versus the Forces of Evil. It's a great show. I can't wait to watch more. Since writing this review, I have started on season 2, and I believe I'm on episode 7 of season 2, so there may be a video on season 2, and there may be a video on the TV movie that starts off season 3. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm Surma11. See you next time, and peace out. There's definitely some sort of card theme going on within the show, so I'm sure that'll be explored in season 2 and the movie for season 3. So don't spoil it. Peace out.